Glue in the edge bead on the wall. The level is resting against the edge of the cabinet to draw a reference line so that the edge bead is perfectly flush with the cabinet. Each outlet is unscrewed and pulled out from the wall enough so that the tile will fit behind the tabs. You can see that this tile needs to be cut on the edge so that it'll fit flush against the edge bead, and also that area for that junction box needs to be cut up. Make sure you protect your countertop, sinks, and stovetops. In order for the tile adhesive to work, you have to sand the wall. This is a wetsaw. You can get these for anywhere from $80 to on up. Setting up the fence to cut this tile. Here we're just cutting the edge off so that it'll fit flush against the edge bead. Make sure you read the service manual, operating guide, and have it plugged into a GFI outlet and wear goggles. Please wear safety goggles. There's little shards of glass that'll go flying. Also be careful when handling the tile because you can pick up shards of glass and cut your fingers. Now we're cutting out for the outlet, and we're cutting down to the 4th course there. And you see when we'll apply it to the wall that it's cut out for the junction box. I have to determine where to cut out for the outlet. So I size up the piece and I mark it, and I'll take it out to the wetsaw and cut down to the 4th course. While you have the tile up on the wall, scrub a line along the top of it so you know exactly where to apply the adhesive up to. Tile adhesive was already applied to the wall. The way it was applied, put it on the wall and then use the V-notch trowel at a 45-degree angle to take off the excess. Applying the tile, use a float, carefully push it into the adhesive, not pushing too hard. Any of the pieces that need filling, make sure you grab them and apply them, and use spacers if necessary between the sets of tile. Again, use a float to carefully push into the adhesive.
Bro, I'll put my hand in front and wave, not really.
Sure, go ahead, say hi.
I don't feel like it. Wait, don't you still see the mesh behind it?
No, because we're going to put grout on.
Oh, okay. And then it colors it?
Then it what?
Colors it, right?
The grout?
Yeah.
Well, it fills in between.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and it colors the...
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Remember the color grout we chose?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's...
Okay.
That's what it is.
And then, do you have to use the wet saw so you can cut that
That's
in
what I
half?
use, it's out there.
Yeah. So, that you can fit it there?
Later.
How does that stuff stick, like, so well?
It's an adhesive, that's why. Again, make sure that the pieces you fill in, the edges that are cut, make sure that they're going to be hidden by the plates. This next piece has to fit around the windowsill. First thing I'm going to do is cut off the excess from the top, and then we'll worry about the last 3 at a later point. Sizing it up first, making sure it does fit, and I'll apply the adhesive. But right now there's a piece of the corner bead for the drywall that I need to cut out because it's protruding. It would cause 1 or 2 pieces of the tile to stick out, and we want all the tile to be flush and look as good as possible. Now that piece is removed, I'm applying the tile adhesive. You can see this is the method I'm using. Using a small trowel to load up this one, and then I apply it to the wall. This is quite a bit that we're putting on, and then the idea is that you use the V-notch trowel to remove the excess, and what that does is that leaves an even amount for the tile to be applied so that there's no spots that are high or low. I'm using the end of the trowel, that's the V-notch, 3/16 V-notch. I have it held at 45 degrees relative to the wall, and I'm pulling it along, removing the excess. I'll have to take the trowel away from the wall, remove it with the other trowel, and repeat until you have all of the adhesive set with the V-notch trowel. Applying the tile to the wall, just lightly pushing it in, reposition it if necessary. That's why you don't want to push too hard in the beginning. Once I'm satisfied with it, then I'll use the float to gently push it into the wall. And you can see that we finished another run, and we're continuing on down underneath the windowsill. And each piece that's applied, use the float to push it in. One thing I didn't cover is you would have to wipe off any excess with a wet sponge. So any of the adhesive that bubbled through the tiles, it's necessary to remove that. Notice there that I'm working with a trowel and I'm near the outlets. It's very important to turn off the breaker. You do not want to risk your life getting electrocuted. It's simple to just turn off the breaker and work on these things. Now that the outlets are removed from the wall, or pulled out from the wall, I'm sizing up the next piece to find out where I have to cut it. I need to cut around where the outlet is. So what I'm going to do there, if you see a little trick, just pull out one piece and I'll worry about that later. I pulled it off of the mesh. Now you can see when I put up the next piece, I have to cut around those two junction boxes. The one is the outlet and the other for the two switches. Here I scribed a line all the way across the wall so I know where to apply the tile adhesive, because we can only work in small sections at a time. Now I'm just using a V-notch trowel to remove the excess adhesive, and then I'll apply the next run of tile. Now here's why the outlets and the switches were pulled out from the wall. You can see I'm actually fitting the tile behind the tabs. The outlets will rest against the tile. That'll help keep the outlets secure when they're screwed into the junction boxes. So this will be continued in the next video, where we finish the top part of the tile.